Hello again, Gooners and Europhiles, because this is the Loose Cannon, episode number 30, which was Yossi Benayoun's squad number last season. Who will be in that shirt next season? Well, there's a name that I'm about to bring you. I'll just hold that thought for the moment. And, of course, we're going to talk about the Euros, or I'm going to talk, because there's only me. I didn't bring Arshav in this time, you'll be glad to hear. The puppet didn't get rave reviews, did he? Well, I don't think he got any reviews, so I thought, don't bring him in, because I've got to do a silly voice, and yeah, I might do it anyway, but I doubt it. Anyway, so yeah, I'll talk about the Euros after I cover the Arsenal news. And the first item of news, some people might say isn't really news. Jack Wilshere out of London 2012. Well, we keep hearing about these scurrilous rumours on Twitter, and now it seems to have come to pass. The Daily Mirror reporting that Jack Wilshere is indeed out of Stuart Pearce's plans, and a good thing too, I say, because we don't want Jack Wilshere playing in an international tournament that's kind of meaningless. What's the point? How is that good for Arsenal? It might be good for him, but I think he just needs to have a good pre-season if he's fit in time for pre-season, that is, and put all these injury woes behind him. Well, talking of woes, let's talk about Sebastian Scillaci. He's had a lot of stick. I still haven't completely written him off as of yet, but he's cost us an extra €250,000 apparently, because he, by playing in one of our matches near the end of the season, it triggered a clause in the contract by which we bought him from Sevilla, which means we've got to pay them €250,000 because we finished third and he took part in a league match. Something similar happened with Per Mertesacke. We've had to pay his previous club a similar amount, but of course he contributed a lot more to our third place finish. If we'd have missed out on third in Champions League, I understand we wouldn't have had to pay it, but obviously we brought in about €30 million by qualifying for the tournament, so good news for us on the money front. And perhaps we're going to actually spend some of that money. £13 million could be spent apparently on Olivier Giroud. The strange thing about this is Montpellier's clause in the player's contract is £12.8 million, so begs the question, why do we want to pay more than we have to? Very un-Arsenal-like. There are a number of other interested clubs: Chelsea, Queen's Park Rangers, Sunderland, Atletico Madrid and Malaga, and if the player wants to move for financial reasons, to make sure that he can have as many Swiss bank accounts as he likes, of course, if he joins Chelsea or perhaps Malaga. I'm not too sure how real the Chelsea interest is, but you have to say, as soon as Arsenal are apparently interested in a player, then normally one of the big clubs follows suit. So it wouldn't really surprise me. They're looking for a new Didier Drogba, so Giroud may be the answer. I don't think he's as good as Drogba, but you never know. I think he would do quite well in the Premier League. May take a little while to bed in, that's my view. But I'd love Arsenal to sign him. I'm not so sure it's going to happen. But this kind of talk was really good for the club at the time when they're trying to get people to renew their memberships. I've just renewed my red membership. It came out of my bank account by direct debit. Thank you very much, Arsenal. But apart from the Podolski signing, nothing else to report, is there? So why would people want to renew their memberships? So hence we get these kind of stories, and also that's part of the reason for the Robin van Persie silence, I believe. I think it's purely because the club want to keep it quiet. I think if we're going to sign Giroud, that probably means Robin van Persie's already decided that he's going to leave, and Arsenal have decided in that case what they want him to do is keep stum, keep quiet, and they'll do some deals, announce some big signings, and then after the big signings have been announced, then we can say we thank Robin van Persie for his sterling service, and so on and so on, and no one will get that upset. Is that sneaky? I don't think it's that sneaky. I know I like to knock the club sometimes, and I'm very sorry about that, but I think the club deserves it when they don't spend money on players and just seem to be accumulating profits for profit's sake. I think we're entitled to have a whinge now and then, but I don't think the club are being particularly sneaky. It's common practice amongst league and Premier League clubs to do that, because they're running a business. They want to make it sound probably better than it is. So you can't blame the club for that. But talking of blame, do I blame the BBC for their coverage of Euro 2012? Yes. The ITV's coverage isn't a lot better, but the BBC, I think, really they didn't do the best of jobs today, particularly on the England game. They're just too biased. Even Alan Hansen, he's Scottish, and I think Hansen's a very good pundit, but today, saying England dominated the game at half-time against France was ridiculous, in my opinion, because when I checked the stats, this was after full 90 minutes, the stats showed that it was 15 shots on target from France to England's 1. And that kind of says it all. They had double the number of corners, 4 to England's 2, and they even had more shots off target as well. I'm pretty sure if you got, I didn't see the full stats on which areas France dominated, but to me it looked like they were passing the ball around much better than England. England were defensively more solid than France. France looked a bit dodgy. I wouldn't go as far as to say that Mexes and Remy in central defence are rubbish, which I'm not sure Hansen used that word, but he suggested that. And of course Lee Dixon was one of the panellists, as was Patrick Vieira, so 2 Arsenal men on the panel, and they both agreed with Hansen that England had dominated the first half and just wasn't having it at all. And I'm not going to have that kind of coverage and not say anything. Sorry, it's got to be said. And it's also got to be said that the 2 opponents that remain for England, Sweden and the Ukraine, are not going to be pushovers. Sweden is next up, and England really need to win that game, or they'll be going out of the tournament. A draw won't be good enough. And I'm anticipating it could be a draw because I think Ibrahimovic will cause us problems, possibly could earn a penalty against us. And the other thing is I just don't think we're that likely to score. I think we could get 1, at most 2. I think we might get a goal. Yeah, it's true. But I think Sweden will try and shut up shop against us and make it very difficult for us to play. And we don't seem to have a lot going forward, even though Oxlade-Chamberlain had a pretty good game against France. And there were some good performances, but I'd say there were defensive performances. Scott Parker was very good. Blocked a lot of shots, as did John Terry. Both of those 2, they were outstanding. Rest of the team, I didn't think they were that good. Oxlade-Chamberlain showed a couple of tricks, but not much penetration. We scored from a set piece. Didn't look like we were going to score in open play, apart from the Milner chance, which he shot wide. So we had 2 good chances. I think France had threatened our goal an awful lot more than that, as the stats seem to show. So really, looking at it all, and the Ukraine, I didn't talk about them. They're our final game, and they're certainly going to be difficult. Shevchenko is a man on a mission. He wants to quit on a high. Voronin is far better than Liverpool fans ever realised, and the Liverpool management team as well. I always said that, and now he's going to prove it in this tournament. The wingers have both been linked with Arsenal, Yarmolenko and Konoplyanka. They're both very good players, very tricky, pretty quick. We've got a couple of good fullbacks in Ashley Cole and Glenn Johnson. But I think they'll cause problems, and I think they'll get balls in the box. And if Shevchenko remains in the kind of form that he was in the last match against Sweden, we're going to have a lot of problems. But then again, John Terry knows Shevchenko inside out, so I think he'll do a better job than the Swedish defence. Let's not forget the Swedish defenders. Like they have Mellberg in central defence. He's no mug. He's getting on a bit, and obviously older than John Terry, but even he couldn't contain Shevchenko in that kind of form. So, yeah, my predictions for the next Group D games. Unfortunately, I've got Sweden 1, England 1, and I'm probably going to predict the other game will probably be a draw as well. 2-1-1 draws. And what about tomorrow's games? Well, I've got Russia. I think they're going to come up short a little bit against Poland because the host nation are not going to be easy to play against. I've got that down as a 1-1 draw, and I've got the Czech Republic to bounce back with a 2-1 victory over Greece. So that's all from me for now, and please leave your comments below. And well, what can I say? Up the Gooners and Gunners and Arsenal, and I also want to say keep enjoying those Euros.